So any questions before we proceed to start the next topic? So last session, we saw how to open a new session, how to close a new session, one after the other, like individual session, how to close, how to log off SAP system, how to install SAP, right? All those stuff. So today we are going to see SAP application field attributes. Write down, put a heading as in SAP application field attributes. Before going to enterprise structure, we need to understand what are the different field attributes. SAP application field attributes. Okay, so write down any SAP application, nothing but any transaction, any screen or any session. Okay, so any SAP application will have the following attributes. Any SAP application will have the following attributes. For example, if I take one session, so this is F-07, I'm taking this application, this transaction. So each one where we enter the data, that particular area, we call it as in field, that particular area. But each field, we are able to see number of fields here, but each field will have different features or different attributes. Clear? So write down first one. Write down first one, text field. Write down first field, text field. Write down text field. Text field. Text field. Text field is an optional 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 field. We may enter any value. We may enter any value with numerical values. With numerical values. With numerical values or alphanumerical values. Numerical values or alphanumerical values, or we can leave it blank, or we can leave it blank. Okay, so here you can see here reference is one text field, this is one text field, this is one text field. So here in this text field, we can enter any value. We can enter any value or we can leave it blank. So that's the reason we are calling it as an optional field, not compulsory field. Here we can enter anything, alphanumeric, numeric. Okay. So next one, required field. Next field is, first one is text field. Next one is required field or mandatory field. 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 Required field or, okay. So you can see on the top left side, you will have a tick mark, which indicates that it's a mandatory field. Okay, here you can see it's many tick mark fields. See document date, account, right? Company code, currency or rate, right? Account. So these all are mandatory fields. These are mandatory fields. Write down. It is a mandatory field. It is a mandatory field for application. 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 Without giving the data, without giving the data, the system will not allow to move forward. Okay. Next one. So understood, right? So this whatever in a SAP screen, whatever top right, top left side, whatever you are able to see the tick mark, which means that it's a mandatory field. Okay, next one. Drop down field. Next one, drop down. We'll discuss later date field, but meanwhile, first we will discuss drop down fields. Drop down fields. Drop down fields. Drop down fields. Right down. Press F4 in drop down list. Press F4. Press F4 in drop down field. Press F4 and press F4 in drop down fields. And select a required value. And select a required value. Select required value from the drop down list. From the drop down list. Okay, select the required list from the draw. Select the required field. See here. So here, this is drop down list. So whatever by default it will be there. You can select whatever field you require, whatever option you require, you can select from here. Okay. Here also you will have drop down list. Account type. Okay, whatever required, we require that we need to select. Next one. Radio buttons. Radio buttons. So here, this is, you can see here, these are non-amount document numbers, posting date, dunning areas, others are, these are nothing but radio buttons. If you want, you can write it out. Additional selections, you can write none, amount, document number, means screen to screen, application to application, the radio button fields will get changed, but the selection option will be the same. So none, amount, document number, posting date, dunning area, others. Okay. out of the radio buttons options, 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 we can select only one option, only one option according to the requirement, only one option according to the requirement. Okay, so either you can select, if I want to report to be generated with amount, you can select amount, document number, posting date, but we can't select all at once. Only one option we can select. That is the feature attribute of radio buttons. We can't select all together. Only one option we can select. Okay, next one. Write down. After radio buttons, check boxes. Check boxes. Put a heading as in check boxes. Check boxes. So you can see here distribution by age, automatic search, invoice summary, other accounts, and standard outstanding invoices. Right? These are check boxes distributed by age, automatic search, invoice summary, other accounts, standard outstanding invoices. So in each application, we will have a different check boxes. Okay. Distributed by age, automatic search, invoice summary, other accounts, fine, standard outstanding invoices. Right up. Out of the check boxes, out of the check boxes in application, out of the check boxes in application, out of the check boxes in application, we can select one option. We can select one option. We can select one option or two options. We can select one option or two options or all options or all options or none, N-O-N-E, none, none. So it is the extremely opposite to radio buttons. Radio buttons, we need to select one. So here none option is there, but without selecting this, we can't go ahead, right? So any one option we need to select out of this. But here, when it comes to check boxes, you can select one option, right? You can select two options, or you can select all the options. Okay, 1, 2, according to our requirement, or without selecting anything also, we can go ahead. This is the checkbox. That is the difference between radio buttons and the checkboxes. Clear, everyone? Any questions on this? So these are called, whatever additional selections we are able to see, those are called radio buttons. And whatever you are able to see here, these are called checkboxes. So the difference between radio buttons and checkboxes is, radio buttons, we need to select only one option. Only one option. Without selecting any option, we can't go ahead. But here, we can radio checkboxes, we can either select one or select two or all the options or none. Clear? Any questions in this? Any questions?
No.
Next one. Okay. Now, as I said, that date fields. date field. Next one, date field. Put a heading as a date fields. Okay. First one, for example, to activate calendar, in date field, we need to select, see here, mandatory field, date field. Okay, we need to activate calendar, we need to select F4 button from keyboard. To activate calendar, we need to select F4 button, and to select the date, we need to press F2 button. F4 and F2. F4 is for to activate the calendar and F2 is for selection of date. So if you press F2, then it will be captured by today's date or whatever date you want. F4, F2 will capture the current date. Okay. Okay. So next we'll see one example. So we have a number of dates here. You can see here, document date, posting date, translation date, right? Number of different dates. Okay. So here, for example, I'll take you. For example, we have purchased material from vendor. Okay. And the date is, for example, 25th March 2023. We have purchased material from vendor. Okay. This we call it as a vendor invoice date. Vendor invoice date means on the date which vendor purchased. Okay. What is vendor invoice date? On the day when we purchased, when vendor prepares the invoice, that date we call it as a vendor invoice date. And vendor sends the invoice to us through a courier. Okay. Through a courier, and we received invoice on, for example, okay, we have received on 29th, 23. Okay, or what I'll take is 15th, 15/3, 15, and we have vendor sends the invoice on 19th. Okay, so here we call it as an ledger, means we have received updation date, ledger updation date. Okay, but what we have, we need to update on 19/3, but here we have updated in the system on 21. That is today we have entered 2023. So what are the different dates here? So this is considered as an, I'll give you the notes for this, don't, document date, next one. This is considered as an posting date. Okay, and this is considered as entry date. Entry date.
Nothing but received date, material received date.
Which one?
19/3.
19/3, which we received the invoice. Okay, so it is supposed to be entered on 19th only, but due to some reasons, we are not able to update on 19th. Clear? So normally as soon as we received, for example, I have a target of what is our TAT is 3 days. We need to enter the invoice whenever from the receipt date onwards, we need to enter the TAT is turnaround time was 3 days, for example. So we have received on 19th, but normally we need to update on 19th itself. But due to some reasons, due to huge inflow of invoice, so we have not able to enter on 19th. We have not able to enter on 20th. We are entered on 21/3. But what is the posting date? We have manually changed. So whenever you are entering posting date, so here you can see posting date. So manually we have changed it to 21. Sorry, 19th. We have manually changed to 19th. Clear? So this is called your posting date. Because on the day which you have received the invoice, on the same day you are entering, right? Due to some reasons you have not entered, but you have changed the posting date as 19th, right? The same time we have one more date that is called entry date. But actually when we have entered the transaction on 21st. Understood, right? So write down first one, I'll give you document date. Put a heading as a document date. Put a heading as a document date. This date will be used to capture. This date will be used to capture transaction occurred date. Transaction occurred date. Transaction occurred date between company and transaction occurred date between company and party. Party is nothing but that may be your vendor, that may be your customer. Okay, means we have purchased. This is transaction occurred date, means we have purchased. So party, you can write it as an, if no confusion, vendor or customer. Vendor slash customer or employee because we will pay the employee or something, right? We have given the loan. It could be anyone, party in the sense. Bank also. Okay, it may be a legal authorities or whatever it is, party. Okay, next one. Okay, if you want, you can write it as this particular example, 15/3/2023. This is called a transaction date. Vendor invoice date. Means transaction has took place. Next one. So if you want, you can write this particular. Next, write down next one, posting date. Posting date. Write down below. This date will be used to. This date will be used to capture. This date will be used to capture. This date will be used to capture ledger updation date. Ledger updation date. Ledger updation date. Ledger updation date in SAP. Ledger updation date in SAP. So you can write this example. 19/3/2023. Ledger updation date. Next one, entry date. Next one, put a heading as an entry date. This date will be used to capture. Entry date, write down. This date will be used to capture. This date will be used to capture today's date or application server date. Today's date or application server date. Today's date or application server date. Write down a note. Write down a note. User cannot specify. User cannot specify. User cannot specify. User cannot specify. User cannot specify or modify entry date. See here, what is the advantage in the sense? For example, as I said that this particular transaction need to be entered on 19/3 and user forgot. Okay. And very next day, he got, probably he has received manually or electronically, he has received 60 invoices. So out of 60 invoices, he forgot to enter. He forgot to enter one entry to be posted. And after 2 days, he realized that one particular invoice he missed to enter in the books of accounts. So what he has done is, okay, he knows pretty well that, okay, document date as per the invoice, we will take it. And posting date, for example, it has to be posted on 19/3. As he forgot, and his manager will caught if the posting date is showing different, what he felt. And what he did is, he has changed actually the date. He realized that that was on 21st. If he entered on 21st, then what would be the problem in the sense? The manager will caught him and saying that why you miss, he need to give the explanation. So to overcome that difficulty, what the employee done is, he has taken posting only the manual change. We can change the posting date. So here he has done the changes. Posting date, instead of taking 21, he has taken 19. He has taken 19. That's it. And he has processed the invoice. So when we open the document, it is showing document date as on 15/3 and posting date as on 19/3. Okay, but there will be one more date. There will be one more date. In after posting the document, automatically it will be generated, and it will take system or not system, server date. You are posting on 19/3, then it will show it as an entry date as on 19/3 only. But that will be captured by the system. It will take server time. Again, I'm telling you. And okay. And the same time, the manager or auditor will check most of the transactions. They will check on entry date, system date. That is nothing but. Clear? So that user can't define the entry date or system date, nor we can modify it. We can modify it. So over there, the users will caught whether they have entered. They need to have a proper reason, valid reason why we are month-end activities, for example, right? Month-end activities probably we will do on 1st of every month, for example, but we will take the last day of the month, right? So we will change the posting date. That will be accepted. But same time, if we want to check on which date actually the entry was happened, then the system gives the entry date. That will show the next day or the other day, whatever date we have processed the transaction. So that date, we call it as an entry date. Any questions here? Any questions? So here, whatever dates we have, 50 document date or posting date, we can modify and we can change it. But entry date, okay, entry date, we can't change it. Any questions? Clear? Any questions?
It's clear.
Sorry, it's clear, right? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Next one. Okay, that is called, next one, transactional date. Translation date. Here you can see translation date. Translation date. Write down translation date. This date write down translation date. The date will be used. This date will be used to convert okay. This date will be used to convert foreign currency transactions into local currency based on exchange rate values. This date will be used to convert foreign currency transaction into local currency based on exchange rate values. So we are going to talk more about this exchange rate values and foreign currency valuation in our next sessions. But as per your whatever date we mentioned, for example, we are posting an invoice in USD currency, and what is the rate on that particular day? So it will be check in translation date, and according to that, it will convert from your foreign currency to local currency. Clear? Any questions? So that is called a translation date. Next one, we have one more date, value date. This is also most important, value date. Next one, value date. Heading as value date. Write down value date. This date will be used to capture this date will be used to capture encashment date for cash transactions, and realization date for bank transactions, So encashment date for cash transactions and realization date for bank transaction. What do you mean by encashment date? So encashment date is nothing but the date on which date we have received the cash or we paid the cash. Okay. So this value date will be updated only for bank and cash transactions. We will fill this value date. So what is this value date? Value date is nothing but encashment date for cash transactions and realization date for bank transactions. So encashment date is nothing but when we received the cash. Okay. As per the Companies Act, okay, we can do a transaction up to 10,000 INR. Up to 10,000 INR, we can do cash transactions. Any company can do cash transactions up to 10,000, not more than that. If it is 10,001, then we can't do a cash transaction. We need to do a bank transaction. Clear? All the petty expenses, we can do cash transactions up to a limit of 10,000 INR. I'm talking about INR, right? And if it is exceeds, then as per the Companies Act 1956, every company has to do a bank transactions only. No cash transactions are allowed after, like, if the transaction amount exceeds 10,000 INR. So here, same encashment in the sense, we have received a check today or day before yesterday, and we have deposited in the bank, and the funds got credited in our account today. So that is called realization date. 21/3 is a realization date. Check received date is not the realization date. On which date the amount got credited in our account or debited from our account, that date is considered as a realization date. Clear? Any questions on this? Clear?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is very, very important. Okay. Next one. Next one, baseline date. Next one more additional date, baseline date. Baseline date. This date will be used. This date will be used. The baseline date. Okay. This date will be used. This date will be used to calculate. This date will be used to calculate due date. Due date for customer invoice. This date will be used to calculate due date for customer invoice or vendor invoice. Okay. For example, I'll show you. So baseline date, we have decided an agreement with our vendor or customer. Baseline date, 30 days, 30 days credit. 30 days credit. Okay. Okay. So for example, we purchased on 15th. We have purchased 15th March 2023. It will calculate. Okay. So here, this is considered as a baseline date. 15/3. Or next day or 16th, it will be calculated from 16th. Okay. A transaction next day. In few transactions, we'll start with the agreement will be taken the day of transaction. Or in few transactions, they will agreement will be entered as a that will be calculated from next day onwards. Next day onward. So in that particular next day, in the sense, in what transaction date plus 1 day means 16/3 would be your 16/3/2023 would be your baseline date. Okay. Okay. Understood? So either that could be calculated either from 15th or 16th. Okay. And there are other different baseline dates are also there, but we will discuss next. Next one, due date. Next one, write down due date. Next one, due date. Write down payment date for, write down due date, payment date for vendor invoice or customer invoice. Payment date for vendor invoice or customer invoice. Payment date for vendor invoice or customer invoice. Payment date for vendor invoice and customer. So the due date will be calculated as per your baseline date. 30 days in the sense. So probably that would be, for example, I'm roughly taking 14th April or 15th April. 15th April. Okay. So these are about date. So these are the different dates actually. Okay. document date, posting date, entry date, translation date, value date, baseline date, due date. Okay, so we discussed about the attributes. Clear? So till now, we know that this is SAP Easy Access screen. This is called SAP Easy Access screen, right? So this is exclusively end users screen. As soon as we log in, then first we will be in end users screen. Okay. So here, even this is not our screen, but still we will maintain in end user screen few sort of master datas and all we will maintain in end user screen. But this is not our screen. As we know that our screen will be project screen, SPRO screen. Clear? So we are going to do everything in project screen only. The basic configuration and customization we are going to do in this particular project screen only. Any questions in this particular thing? So we are done with this particular introduction part. Okay, and next one, put a heading as in FI enterprise structure or organization structure. FI enterprise structure or organization structure. Let me open the document. Okay. FI enterprise structure or organization structure. Okay. So any enterprise or any organization will have first client. If you want, you can write it down this picture. This is very important because as a consultant, we need to have a knowledge on each and every this thing. So first we will design client. Client will be automatically designed by basis consultant. Okay, this particular client number will be given by client. Basis consultant. Okay, next one, I'll explain everything, each and every area I'll explain. So here, first highest organizational unit is operating concern. Write it down this picture. Operating concern. Highest, same like this, you can write it down. Okay. So we will take one example and we will design as it is with company. Okay, operating concern. Okay, next one. Controlling area. Same as it is, write it down. 1:n methodology. 1:n. Controlling area. We are going to define everything. Okay, next one. Company. Company. The next one. Company code 1. Company code 2. Company code 1. Company code 2. Company code 3. Company code 3. Next one. Controlling area. Sorry, credit control area. Credit control area. FM area or financial management area. Financial management area. Financial management area. Okay. Next one. Here, this come with a new GL concept. this particular concept came up with the profit center standard hierarchy. Earlier, it was with CO module. CO module, but in new GL module, it came up with new profit center standard hierarchy, moved from CO module to this module, FI module. So what was the difference? First, I'll give you one example. What is the difference between classic GL and new GL concept in the sense? Again, we are going to repeat this particular thing n number of times. Classic GL. What is the formula classic GL in the sense? Okay. Here, GL debit equal to GL credit. That's it. GL debit and with GL credit. Means we can generate only GL wise. In classic GL, we can generate only GL reporting only. That's it. Currency, we can do whatever company code currency, group currency we have, that we can do. But the reporting purpose, only GL report we can generate in classic GL. But the new GL concept, when new GL concept came up in SAP, so this becomes multi-dimensional reporting. Any organization can generate. So what is the new concept in the sense? GL plus business area plus profit center plus segment debit equal to same GL plus business area plus profit center plus segment credit. Means, so earlier version we can generate reports only with the GL base. That's it. Only one dimensional we used to generate a reports. But here, when it comes to new GL concept, we can generate reports GL base, GL wise, according to business area wise, according to profit center wise. These are FI reports only, not CO. Okay. GL wise, business area wise, profit center wise, and segment wise. So that is the difference between. So earlier, due to that, majority organizations are not satisfied with this classic GL reporting. So they came up with their queries that they want a multi-dimensional reporting, multi-currencies reporting. Clear? So SAP has introduced in new GL concept with this multi-dimensional reporting. Means you are posting one entry in the sense you can generate any number of reports in that particular one transaction. So you can generate reports with the GL, business area, profit center, segment, and currencies, local currency or company code currency, group currency, hard currency. So like that, you can generate any number of reports. So that's the reason. What is the difference between new GL and old GL in the sense? Classic GL. In classic GL, the profit center standard hierarchy was with controlling module, CO module. Clear? And in new GL concept, that profit center standard hierarchy has moved from controlling module to FI module. So that's the reason this particular step has came into the picture in new GL concept. But in still now, majority are not covering this. Majority are not covering this because it will take a lot of time to make understanding or preparation or configuration. Means not at a client level, I'm saying at training level, training institute level, these things are not covering majority. Okay, so here write it down. Profit center standard hierarchy. So we need to define profit center standard hierarchy. Next one, profit center groups or subgroups. Next one, profit center, which will be created profit center under these groups. And last, we will create segments under profit center. Under profit center. Next one. So this will be at client level, not at company code level. The business area. Business area. Business area. I'll tell you what is exactly client level and company code level. Just write it down as of now. Business area. consolidation business area, which will be linked to business areas. Business area or business areas, consolidation business areas. And last but not least, functional areas. Functional areas. Clear? So what we will do is, so this is the complete organization structure. Any organization, it will start with an SAP. It will come up with client. If you are doing any other software or any other system, then it will start from here, operating concern onwards. So first we need to understand operating concern, controlling area. And these two things we are not going to define in an initial phase. Here, as I said that this controlling area, it came up in new GL concept. So at that particular point of time, we are going to create controlling areas. So these two will be discussed little later. But first we'll start with the company. Company code, okay, credit control areas, financial management areas, functional areas, business areas. And after creation of all these configuration, then we will do controlling area part. And in controlling area, we are going to map with, that's the reason you can see here. Controlling area is mapped to profit center standard hierarchy. Without creating controlling area, we can't do it, right? First, what we are going to do, this is the structure normally. First, we need, whenever we visit the client place, we need to understand what is their operating concern, what are their controlling areas, right? What are the different, what is their company, right? Is it an optional or a mandatory to define a company? We need to understand. And after that, how many company codes are there, right? We will discuss what do you mean by difference between company and company code here. And we will prepare the structure. And what are their credit control areas? What are their financial management areas? And after that, we will define business area, consolidation business areas, right? Functional areas, profit center standard hierarchy. Before creating profit center standard hierarchy, then we will create controlling areas. Okay. And at the time of once we're done with the F5 module completely, then once we move to CO module, at that particular point of time, we will create operating concern. The next we will do cost element objects. We will create cost element objects. So this is the structure. Right now, it looks like something weird, but still just put up this structure on your paper because we are going to define our company. I'll take one company, right? And every batch I'll do it in the same way. One letter, I'll change it. And this is in real time also. Normally what people will do, people will create one company. They will do one company code. Okay. And they will create one business area. Okay. And they will create functional areas. That's it. They won't take plants. They won't take functional financial management areas, right? They won't take segments, profit center. Simple structure they will take. But in real time, we won't find that particular structure. We will have a structure like this. This is a real time structure only I took. That's the reason it is having a lot of things. So we will solve one by one. Okay. So here your letter would not be L. Okay. Something we will take. So any questions still here? So tomorrow session, we will define what is your company and company codes. The structure, we will convert into your example company, the project, what we are going to do the coming 5 months or 6 months. So still here, any questions? Yes, no.
No.
Hope I'm audible. So initially it looks like because we haven't practiced yet, so that's the reason probably that may not be, will have some sort of confusion. But definitely once we start the structure creation, then everything you won't have any sort of confusion here. But we need to have a structure. We need to remember the structure. So practically we are going to do that. And I don't get confused. I'll give you each and every step. What do you mean by an operating system? I've already prepared the literature for that. So everything I'll give you in that. I have prepared a notes for that, not in this. but we have a notes for that. I'll share you that. And I'll dictate that, and after that I'll share you that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nav.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.